Good afternoon. QCheque is reinventing the paper check for banks and credit union. And we came all the way from Detroit, Michigan, because some guy here from Silicon Valley, when he reinvented the car, he disrupted our automotive industry. And we're coming back, and we want to disrupt the banking and the fintech area. We're going to start from the bottom up, the paper check. I'm Shoaib Shafkat, and I'm the president and founder of QCheque. And with me,
I'm Thomas Koch. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of QCheque. And the problem we're going to talk about today, everybody knows what this is or has some kind of idea of what this is. It's the traditional paper check. And for a lot of people, they ask the question, do people still use checks? Actually, in the B2B world, it's a very common form of payment. There's still 40 million checks per day transacted. So a lot of people are still using the paper checks. Why do you use a paper check? Tons of great information on the paper check. Who am I paying them? How much am I paying them? What's my routing and account number? But there's a problem in there. There's one piece of information that's a little bit too much, which is your account number is right there on the front of the check. So what we are simply is replacing that account number with a QR code. Now people ask a question all the time, how big of a problem is check fraud? Does it still go on? And actually, yes, it's still, 2017 numbers, $770 million worth of check fraud across the country. There's a couple of different reasons why that happens. There's a few pain points. I'm actually going to use some real live examples. As Shoaib mentioned, we're from Michigan, he's from Detroit, I'm from Grand Rapids. The first thing we see a lot of is forged, compromised checks. Checks that somebody takes, the information you've given them, they go down to Office Max, buy paper that they can print a check on, they make a check just like they are you. Does this really happen? Absolutely. A small manufacturer in Grand Rapids had an employee do this. Before they caught him, he had actually spent about $300,000. Obviously, he was prosecuted to the full extent of the law, but the issue was the business was out that $300,000, and there was a pretty big process to unwind things, and as you can imagine, for a small manufacturer, a pretty difficult problem. Then you have counterfeit payments and deposits. This is where somebody can actually, they can take your actual check and they can alter it, or they can deposit the same check twice now that we have these great mobile apps. Again, using a story from West Michigan, there's a lot of fruit farms in our area, workers that come from outside the area, but the farmers are really well known to their local banks. There was a small bank in West Michigan that had a lot of these farmers as their customers. They had workers come in, get their check, deposit it into Bank of America or Chase on their mobile app, then they would walk into this small local bank, cash the check. The local bank knew the farmer, said that check is good, we're going to cash the check. They were hit with $500,000 in fraud over the course of a few years that way. So our solution, as we mentioned before, is pretty simple. We're actually just replacing that account number with a QR code that makes it really, really easy for you to verify a check is real. And Shoaib's actually going to run through a demonstration really quickly. He's going to take an actual photo.
so once you verify the check, as you can see from our mobile app, that account number is masked. We are using this encrypted QR code, and we're displaying just the last 4 digits of the account. There we go, we got it. Notice up on the top, that's a unique ID for each check, and only last 4 digits of your bank account number.
And again, all the same information that's on your traditional paper check, so you can know as someone who's receiving a check that, hey, this is a real check. At the exact same time, the financial institution themselves can scan the same check and see, are we the bank of first deposit? Are we the place where this is being deposited first? Is this a real check? Shoaib's now going to scan and actually show that process that a bank could actually use to verify the check itself by using a handy hand scanner.
And notice that same unique ID for the check ID, we utilize it, but your account number is not displaying. And if you want to process that as a payment, just push this button, and you can process the payment, and this is a live coming from our website. We can find it, let's use that if it was auto loan. We use a loan number, payment, we can post the payment on any of your core banking systems. Here's another thing. I'm going to show you one most important thing, and that is our competitive advantage. We are utilizing the latest and greatest API technology. In real time, we are verifying. Our team is part of small organization. Anybody know NACHA? They have a initiative of Payment Innovation Alliance, and we are part of that team where we are building the API standards group. And NACHA has in the process of releasing two open APIs to the banks where you can validate the accounts and verify the information. And pretty soon, if you can see this one, here's the same QCheque ID that utilized it, but you can verify the account number information coming back from the bank. So financial institution to financial institution, secure communication, no more bad guys, no more writing duplicate checks, and saving money.
And so the three things to take away from this, this is a mix of both the traditional paper check and financial technology. So the great thing about this is, as any other check, it rides along the payment rails that are currently being used today by the payment system. We're not creating anything new. This is something that works right within your banking system. The other great thing about it is, like we said, we have this access and open advantage to these APIs through the NACHA system and through some of the other organizations. In addition, there's no need for a bank to upgrade their hardware. This is actually something they can do today with really simple fixes. There's no need to go out and buy new hardware or change anything that they're doing. So it's a really easy thing for them to pick up and to adopt today.
And our app that we just demonstrated, it is available on the App Stores and Google Play. You can take a look at it, and it's available. And we are on booth table 22. Stop by. Love to answer any of your questions. Thank you.